Did you guys see those pictures of Jack yesterday when he fell asleep, like, in my arms like a babe?
Where would I have seen that? Where in the fuck would I have seen that picture?
Instagram.
No, I didn't check Instagram yesterday.
Hello and welcome to Way Too Broad, a place for friends to talk about things that they're really, really ridiculously excited about, of which there are many this week. It turns out, when you skip a week of podcasting, lots of extra things happen. I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts, Aaron and Ben. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Hannah and Ben. Oh my god, I have missed you guys. I know it has only been a week, but I was like, I haven't talked to these people in a month. Which is not true. It's only really been a week, right?
Yeah.
It's felt like an eternity.
It's been 2 weeks.
Well, no, because we didn't miss...
It's normally a week.
I missed you too, Aarin.
We only skipped a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that means it's been 2 weeks since we talked to each other.
It's only been 2 weeks. That's a basic arithmetic. Sean Connery.
I mean, it was a huge week, though.
It was a big fucking week. There were moments...
it was extra big.
It was extra big. There were moments where it was like... And you were in China, Hannah, so it wasn't that you were just like, I didn't talk to you. You were like extra inaccessible, even though we did talk.
Yeah. Well, we were all in China, though.
That's right. Even though we were all in China and different parts of China.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
We actually went to the same parts. We were there at different times.
Yeah.
Just didn't work out.
It was really unfortunate.
Yeah. So,
hi, Ben.
Hello.
Yeah, so I'm wicked jet lagged.
I bet.
Right now.
You were
my body... Huh?
You were 12 hours ahead?
Ahead, yes. I was in the future.
Tell us what the future's like.
It was usually like, it was really, really hot and busy. And a lot of driving.
Like you were driving a lot?
Oh, no. No.
How many people from your work were with you?
One person traveled from my office with me.
Okay.
And then we were traveling with one or two people from our office in China, who they were awesome. Excuse me, I'm burping directly into the microphone.
Oh my gosh, editing your burps in the podcast last time was just, I had to listen to them so many times to make sure I was like getting them exactly. And so I just ended up like listening to you burp like really exactly, like over and over again. And
that's
like,
actually that's like the weirdest part of editing is like when you like only listen to one person's track while someone else is talking and you just hear all of the noises they don't think anyone else will ever hear.
Like also now I like was on a road trip recently and like listened back to some of our old episodes, which are great because I don't remember them at all, and so I'm like like laughing genuinely, but it's like all I hear now are Ben's mouse clicks. Click, 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 click.
There's just no chance, like, and he's doing it all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, stuff up during the show.
He's fucking surfing the internet the entire time. Like,
I look stuff up that we're talking about.
I know you do. You do.
Aaron, I told you this off mic, but you did a great job editing.
Thank you.
And also uploading both of the last 2 weeks episodes / non-episodes.
I did it under your really detailed tutelage, but I did not fuck it up. So that was good.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Thanks.
Anybody can podcast. That sounded like a burn on you, Aaron.
No. I mean, really,
you did a really easy thing, but you did it well.
You gave me like a really good. Well, from the get-go, you've had everything like in a Google Drive that we have access to. And you had really good notes that were very detailed and step by step, so it was easy to not fuck up. For those reasons.
Okay, so we're doing something a little different this week because we haven't talked in a couple of weeks, and because those happen to be a couple of really huge weeks in our lives and the world's life. We just are gonna like just go through just an exhaustive list of all the stuff we've wanted to talk about these last couple of weeks, but we haven't been able to talk to each other.
It's a shared obsession week.
It's a shared obsession week, and we're just gonna like catch up on all the amazing news of the last 2 weeks.
I feel like it was also inevitable because this whole time we've been like introducing each other to new things, and so and we've done it for long enough. Like we are on the heels of a year of this of this podcast, so it's been long enough for those things to have updates and significant updates, and so it's like inevitable, I feel, to have a shared obsessions week where we kind of like are talking about all of the things that we've talked about before and have updates on.
What's the name of that guy that got what he deserved last week?
Oh, I don't
Bill
know.
Cosby?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that guy.
Okay.
I was like, which one?
So I don't know, where do we want to start?
Well, I have an unrelated anecdote that I wanted to share, if that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think we should talk about your trip to China.
Okay.
And then we can roll right into, gosh, we have our pick of things. Well, I just wanted to tell a quick story that I thought of because Molly just... So let me start with this. Henry loves warm laundry, and so when we pull laundry out of the dryer, and we'll put it on the bed to fold it, he's like right there on top of it, like on it. Like we know that Henry will be ready to like let go of this world when he's an old dog man and there's a warm pile of laundry on the bed and he like doesn't care to go lie on it. Like that is like no matter what he's doing, he'll like go lie on warm laundry. So apparently just now Molly was folding laundry and he was like wrapped up in a shirt, and one of my shirts, actually my favorite shirt, and like heard a noise and got up and ran off, and Molly was like, and now I can't find your shirt. So she found it. But that reminded me of this amazing time when we were in the bathroom. Okay, we were taking a shower together. And we're married. It's fine. It's an important part of the story because it explains why we were both tied up. So we were both in the shower.
We were tied up in the shower.
We were tied up. Oh my God. We were just regular in the shower and purely just showering.
Yeah.
It's fine. Doesn't matter. Maybe we weren't. Maybe we weren't. I don't know. But we were, and we were just showering, and we heard quite the kerfuffle, and and I step out of the shower and like open the bathroom door, and if you can imagine my point of view, and I'm slowly opening the bathroom door, and I look, and in the hallway is Henry, my dog, and he is standing there looking at me, and he is wearing a sweater vest. Head in the head hole.
No way.
Leg in the leg hole. Standing in the middle of the hallway.
There's actually no like holes
looking
in a
at
sweater
me.
vest.
Oh, arm in the armhole. Standing there looking at me.
Oh my
And we make eye contact, and it's just like, who knows where my phone is? We're both wet and naked. Like, even if I found my phone, it'd be too late. And he like rolled out of it, and it was like the moment was gone. It was like one of those things that's like I can't prove that it happened, but you have to believe me that we were taking a shower, and then I opened the door, and my dog was standing in the hallway wearing one of my sweater vests.
That's like if you walked in on all your toys talking to each other. Like your Toy
Right.
Story.
Oh, you know what? You know what happened was that we were bathing Henry in the shower together, and then we let him loose in the house, and he was like frantically rubbing on everything and to dry off, and like rolled himself into a sweater vest. But you're right. It's like if my toys were talking to each other. Like you can't. You know that it's futile to like try to record it because it's not gonna. You know,
It's not gonna last.
you're not gonna capture it.
No.
So anyway,
Because that's very funny.
the end.
All right. So you want to hear about China?
Yeah, let's hear about China.
Is that a new game show?
Celebrity edition. Scarlett Johansson reads China facts.
Well, I certainly can't generalize about all of China because it's very big, as I pointed out
Is
last
it?
week.
As you exclusively have pointed out.
I'm the first one who's noticed. It's very big. But I'll give you a quick rundown on the interesting things that occurred. So I went to China. Well, first we flew into Hong Kong, which is not part of China anymore.
Sorry,
And,
can we pause for 1 second? How big is China, do you think?
Like three out of 5.
All right, sounds good. Carry on.
okay, did you not Google that?
Nope.
He did. Oh, I thought he did, and he was about
Nope.
to tell us, and we were.
Me
it
too.
was like
That's what I also
guess-
thought.
I thought this
Nope.
was the first round of. So you want to learn about China? So you think you want to learn about China?
It's 3.705 million square miles.
That's what I said. I said 3.
Yeah,
that's
out
what
of
she
5.
said.
Yep. So, so we flew into Hong Kong, and then we drove to where we're staying, which is a city called Dongguan. Honestly, I don't know if that's the city. It's Dongguan in the province of Guangdong, and then also Dongguan is huge, and every city in China is like sprawling, but it has all these like smaller cities in it, and I think we're in a smaller town or whatever called Xi'an, maybe. I don't know. That's a different part. I don't even know. So
How huge is it? Like out of 5?
it's like, I don't know. Well, if the whole country's 3 out of 5, it's probably like only like 0.03.
I think we need a bigger scale.
Sorry, it was 1.5. Was the correct answer.
So
You've been eliminated.
dang, shit. Do I have to leave the podcast?
You have to stop
Yeah.
talking about China.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's all you get.
So okay, let's see. What the first thing that happened was after we landed, it took us like 3 whole hours to get to our hotel because we had to go through customs to get into Hong Kong, and then we had to go. We had to drive. We met a driver, and we had to drive to the the country line. What can't I think of words? The border. Between
The country line.
between Hong
The
Kong and
country
China.
delineator.
The
And then we had to
country
get-
separating place.
And then we had to get out of the car and take all our luggage with us into the like border control area, and we had to get our fingerprints taken, and I had to get like my picture taken, and then we had to walk all of our stuff through this one. There was one machine that was servicing like every lane where you like put your bags through, but there was like nobody there watching, so you just like I put one. A lot of people were just putting like one bag in, but they were not taking their backpack off, so that didn't seem very safe. But we walked through. We got through. Everything was fine. We went to our hotel. So a lot of people had been warning me about the toilets in China, and I had not been listening to them.
What about them? Like anything specific, or they just be like, beware the toilets?
Well, they were like, they're just a hole in the ground, and I was like, no, they're not. And I went, and at the hotel, they're not. They have totally like normal, or they have Western toilets at the hotel. But when we went out in public anywhere, there was like maybe like only a 20 or 30% chance that any given bathroom was going to have the type of toilet that I am used to using, that I've grown accustomed to. most public restrooms and like restrooms in like suppliers' offices we went to and stuff, they all had they're like holes in the ground. Like, it's just like, it's a raised platform. You go into like a stall, and it's just like a porcelain hole in the ground. So you have to like squat over it to pee or whatever.
Or whatever.
And like,
To pee, etc.
right. And like, I'm just not, I'm not built for any of that. Like I'm not built for the heat. I'm not built for their toilets. Like because I couldn't like squat low enough to feel safe that I wouldn't pee on my pants. So I would like what I started doing was, especially after I got my period. I had my period almost the whole time that I was in China.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god! Jesus Christ!
So what I started doing was I would. Every time we got to a new place, I would wait until the person I was traveling with went to the bathroom. And she started realizing what I was doing. Because when she came back, I would ask her. Like, I would try to be subtle, but I would be like, what's the bathroom situation? Right? So, like, eventually, she'd come back from the bathroom and either, like, nod at me or shake her head no.
Oh.
So I was able to determine which bathrooms I could use and which I couldn't. Because we, you know... oh man, that was the hardest part. I was so angry. I was so mad at my body. I was like, okay, isn't stress supposed to delay your period? Like, that's a thing.
Is it?
Right? Yes,
Yeah,
it
because
is.
it makes you pregnant. That's how you get pregnant, right?
Stress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to get pregnant from the
Jesus.
toilet seat in China.
Oh, Jesus, what, Ben?
Como just ran up on the computer. He didn't stop the recording. We're good.
Come on, just ram on the computer during a great.
That was a funny joke. Yeah, that was
I'm
a
so
funny joke.
sorry.
That's okay.
She said you're not going to get pregnant from a toilet seat in China. No, you're not.
That sucks so bad. Were you there for like 10 days though?
A week. I was there for
Okay.
about a week. And
God.
yeah, and it was like the moment that I was leaving China, my period just ended. So I had it like from the second day I was there until the day that I left.
That fucking sucks. You know, I just went on a trip and had my period over the exact time of the trip and was really pissed about it. But you fucking win. You really fucking win.
Yeah, it was a lot. I was really angry, really angry at my body for doing that because I also wasn't expecting it until I thought it would be like there would be a couple of days that I would probably have to deal with it, but I was not prepared for the whole week. So, but anyway, I handled it. I'm actually very proud of myself. I didn't even have to buy any like pads while I was over there because I didn't like super trust that their regulations are as strict as ours on that. Although maybe that's foolish, but so. That was, like, the most stressful part. But I have to say that I really enjoyed myself. Everybody was incredibly nice. And the food. Okay, so one thing so I was there for work. So we were visiting a lot of suppliers, and they were bringing us out to a lot of big lunches. In the traditional way of like handling meals in China apparently is like eat a healthy sized breakfast, like a pretty large breakfast, a huge long lunch, and then like either skip dinner or have something very like fruit or something for dinner.
Interesting.
Which is like probably a healthier way to do it. But I don't think they do this every day anymore, but that's what I was told was like the ideal. And so when you're a guest, they'll take you out to lunch, and there's like always, I can only speak for like, you know, the business community or whatever, but like they would always take us to a restaurant that had a few of the same things. One of them was, it was a private room just for us. Another one was that it had a big giant glass Lazy Susan in the middle of the table. And then you would always have like a small plate, a small bowl, a spoon, and chopsticks. And then if you said you wanted them, they would bring you a fork and knife. But I only used it like about half the time. Like I kind of handled it okay, right?
Cool.
But then they would spend, like everybody that was there that spoke Chinese would spend like, well, first they'd put the menu in front of you and there was pictures of everything and you would point at the things that looked interesting. And then there would be like a 10-minute conference off in the corner of the room about like what was going to be ordered. So, and then they would order it and things would come out as they're ready. So it kind of ends up being like kind of like tapas, but they're not small plates, they're big plates. So it ended up always being like so much food, and there's just like everything that comes they'll serve you first because you're like the guest, and it's like I'll be trying to finish the last thing that came out, like with my chopsticks that I'm not that great at, and the next thing comes out and I'm holding up everybody from eating this thing because I need to take some first, and it just keeps like the moment that you think it's done, like the whole Lazy Susan is filled, it's spinning around, everybody is eating, like another thing will come, and then another thing will come, and there's always like 3 or 4 more dishes than it seemed like we needed at any meal. And you know, there's also, it's like they'll watch you like a hawk to make sure that you're enjoying your food. So you have to, like, your reactions when you like something, or even when you don't, have to be like really over the top, like, oh my god, this is so good. But like a lot of the stuff was very, very good. They cook apparently a lot of, like, they use pig fat the way that we use olive oil.
Oh, that sounds good.
That does sound good.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of, like, then for the rest of the day, the meal would just sit in my stomach like a brick and wait until I got home to my Western toilet to poop it out. And I would almost, like, at least half the time, I just was able to skip dinner because I was still so full from lunch.
Wow.
But, yeah.
I was about to say, then you have to aim your diarrhea into a hole in the ground.
No, and I didn't get diarrhea either, so that was good.
That's great.
I'm just mentioning that because we talked about it last time.
Oh, right, traveler's diarrhea.
Traveler's diarrhea, right.
That's
I
right.
didn't get that.
That's
So
good.
that's good. Oh,
So
I
glad.
did get
or
a
typhoid.
really...
You got typhoid?
Okay, hang on a second. But I have to show you something else that I got.
Okay. Fucking sunburn.
Yeah, I got
Oh
a
my-
really nasty sunburn. So, okay, let me put this back. So another thing that is interesting and different about China is, you know, their emissions laws are pretty far behind ours, and they do a lot of producing of things. So their air is extremely polluted. So there's a ton of smog, and the area that I was spending most of my time in, there was especially a lot of smog because it was a very industrial area, because I was there to visit, like, factories, right? So, which was also, by the way, in its own right, extremely interesting, but probably not interesting enough to talk about on this podcast. But then on the last day, we went to this place called Splendid China, which has like miniature versions of a bunch of the stuff that's like famous in the rest of China. So it was like, you know, it was fairly close by to where we were staying, and so they took us there instead of trying to get us to one of those places, because as I mentioned before, as I noticed for the first time, China's very big. So
3 out of 5.
right. So I wore this shirt that had cutouts in the shoulders, just to, like, because it was very hot, and I absolutely just didn't think of putting on sunscreen because I hadn't run any risk of getting a sunburn the entire rest of the week because it was so, like, smoggy, and I wasn't spending that much time outside either. So I got horribly burned on my shoulders, but just like
I'm seeing that now.
it's like it's like I'm wearing a red, like, what's that called?
Shoulder pad.
It's like I'm wearing red shoulder pads. Yes, it's like I was wearing red shoulder pads and they bled onto my skin.
You're gonna have that tan, shoulder pad tan, for the rest of your fucking life.
I know, and
that's never going away.
This happens to me every single year. It's like at the moment that we got there and I started to feel my skin kind of like doing that burn thing, I was like, oh, this is it. This is this year's burn
thing. Doing that thing.
Crisping up.
But it happens not only do I have, like, this weird shirt burn, I also have, I was wearing, like, a crossbody purse, and I have a tan line for that, too, because I had it on the whole time.
Oh my God.
It's so bad.
And you had been eating everything that's soaked in, like, pig lard, and so it's, like, oozing up through your skin and helping it get that really nice crisp that you know and love.
Yeah. I basically have bacon shoulders.
That's so great, but only on that one pad.
Yeah, on both sides, yeah. So
Yeah. Only on the 2 pads.
But that was it was very fun, and I if it didn't take so long to get there, it would be a place I would definitely be planning on going again. And even as it is, I think it's a place I'll go to again.
If somebody had ever completed that hole down to China, like digging that hole through, and you could just, like, slide down.
Slide on down. Slide down.
Down.
Yeah,
That
it
would
was
be
a fucking long trip.
I bet. I love, real talk, I
Real
fucking
talk.
love international flights.
Mm-hmm.
Like like so much food, all the booze you can drink for free. You just like premium movie after premium movie. It's
Wait.
a dream.
What
Yeah.
airline were you on, Hannah?
United.
We took, I think it's called Cathay Pacific. We went to Japan. Mm-hmm. They're so fucking nice. So
you-
comfy. Comfy?
Comfy.
So comfy.
Did you fly like coachish?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
did we,
yeah.
and it wasn't as bad as
Even
it is.
the
Yeah, it was
coach trips,
fine.
you still get like, they still like want to booze you up.
Yeah, they were offering out just free wine the whole. I didn't have.
Oh,
any.
yeah.
I'm stupid.
Though I will say the first class on those flights looked
Oh my god.
incredible.
I was telling
Like
this.
beds, practically.
Yes, yeah. There were like 3 versions of first class, and then there was what I was in. But there was nobody in the middle seat for either of my flights, which was great.
Oh,
That's
that's
great.
awesome.
But yeah, this plane was like 9 seats across, and it was
Yep.
so I had a conversation. So today was my first day back in the office, and I was telling people about this plane, and then this guy starts asking me like, "Oh, what kind of plane was it? Was it a Boeing 777?" And I was like, "What?" I like turned to someone else. I was like, "Is he serious? Does he think I would know this?"
I don't fucking know. It was an airplane that took me across the sea.
It was a really big airplane. It still had the place to put your cigarettes out, ashtrays. What do you want from me?
It was one of those.
Smoke in restaurants in China?
I don't think it's against the law, but I did not see a lot of indoor smoking. I saw a lot of indoor ashtrays, but not a lot of indoor smoking.
Oh, interesting.
People smoked in restaurants all the time in Japan.
Ew.
A bunch of restaurants were very smoky. They had like non-smoking sections a lot of the times.
Not helpful though.
No,
Yeah,
it's not. It
often
never was.
Yeah, less smell your smoke section.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
One thing that I noticed the first day I was there, I was walking around this big like convention center thing, and it was like it had a bunch of places where it just opened up to the outside, which was extremely confusing for my body, which is terrible at regulating my temperature. Oh, this is the thing I wanted to talk to you about, Ben, because the area I was in basically just felt like South Florida. And it reminded me why I fucking hated South Florida so much, because I was just sweating all the time. Everybody that spent any amount of time with me in China, like every Chinese person was worried about me, like thought I was like having a heart attack or something, because I was just sweating all the time.
We sweat
So much. And I kept on being like, this is not me being tired. This is not me feeling sick. This is just how much I sweat, and it runs in my family. And
That's why, like, as excited as I am to live and move to California, to Southern California, it's like I sweat at like 72 degrees out, and I sweat a lot.
yeah, I was saying like,
Like,
my brother.
immediately.
You were
It's, like, on
my
or
big
off.
excuse. I was like, my brother and I, we can't take showers that are too hot, or else we'll
Yes.
sweat for the rest of the day.
Yes.
Like,
I'll be coated in a patina of sweat after a
Yeah.
shower if it's too hot.
yeah, you'll be fine. I don't think they get as much humidity.
Yeah, it's dry. It's deserty.
Yeah.
Deserty.
Dessert.
Dirty.
It's a dessert.
It's dessert. Here's what's next on my list: dirty computer.
Hold on, I need to know what we're drinking because, as mentioned, I was listening back to some episodes, and there was like an episode where we didn't say what we were drinking, and I was like, "What were we drinking?" the whole time. But what were we drinking though?
I'm drinking ginger beer, all natural Jamaican style ginger beer, extra ginger brew Reeds.
Is it the Reeds? I like that one.
Reeds.
It's not like the spiciest ginger beer I've ever had, but it's nice.
It's nice.
It's
just
nicey.
nice. It's nice and gingery.
Yeah.
I was gonna put this new gin that we got into it that's Irish that Ian is excited about.
Ginger
But
beer.
then I was like, I'm so sleepy already. So, what about you, Aaron?
I'm drinking a decaffeinated coffee.
The cough.
The coffee.
Ben.
Word.
Water.
Wartar. Wartar.
Wartar. Well, good. Excellent. What's next
now,
on the agenda? On
Dirty
the
computer.
Dirty
sizable agenda.
Dirty computer.
It's so fucking good.
It's
Okay.
so fucking good.
Just so in case anybody, if this is your first episode, this is a Janelle Monáe podcast. Now, Dirty Computer is is the name of Janelle Monáe's new album, which came out a couple of days before I left China, and I woke up at 3 a.m. and watched the motion picture in my
I haven't
bed.
watched
I haven't
it.
had time to watch it yet.
I haven't watched
I'm really
it either.
excited.
Y'all, there is an extra bridge in pink
Oh, fuck. Oh,
in the
fuck.
motion picture.
Oh,
It's not
fuck.
even on the album.
I have to go. Something emergency came up.
Something emergency came up.
Did you know? Weird fact. Weird side note. The other day, or a couple months ago, when we brought Kylie in the emergency room because of her lung, and one of the nurses kept describing her as emergent,
Oh.
as in like someone who was like in an emergency.
Oh,
I never heard that before, and I'm still not sure if that's the correct usage or not.
interesting.
I think it is.
It probably is. It's just it sounded so weird, and
Molly-
he said it like a lot.
That reminds me directly of, like, Molly was talking to me about bees. Molly's a beekeeper, which I'm not saying for you guys. I'm saying that for everybody who listens to the podcast. Mm-hmm. And she kept talking about, like, your bees, if they get big, they'll, like, leave their hive, and you do things to prevent them from doing that. Not, like, if the bees themselves get large, but if, like, the colony gets big. And she kept saying, like, referring to them at, like, absconding. And I was like, I think that's what that word means, but it's like literally the word. It's like the word for it, like the beekeeper word for it. But it just sounded like she was like using a word kind of incorrectly.
Yeah.
Like absconding with what though?
Yeah. Get your shit together, beekeepers.
But that's the word. But it was. I'm glad I clarified it early because then she kept saying it. But I was like, it just really sounds like you're trying to use a fancy word that you don't really know the meaning of, and you're using it wrong. But she's not. That's the word.
Abscond was one of those words that when I took Latin in high school, our teacher was always like, as an example of a word that we could figure out because we knew the Latin roots for. But as I said that, I don't remember what the Latin root is for it.
Well,
So
you knew that was
why'd
going
I
to be our
take
next
4 years?
question. Jeez. Okay, I know that I said that we all need to pick our favorite song and say our favorite song, but I have guesses for both
Okay.
of you. First of all,
Oh, let's
Okay.
do that first. Let's all guess the other.
But what are the rules? That because it's like what?
Are you okay?
Something emergency just came up. Okay, well, are we counting the songs that she released before the album dropped, or are we
Yes.
trying
Yes.
to select? Well,
Oh, you don't like that?
no. Well, I feel like you can't have a guess because I've already like really waxed poetic about some. But okay, let's go.
okay, well, actually, okay, let's start with Aaron.
Are we? How about should we both guess and then she'll tell us?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Well, oh.
Because I think, let's say this. I think that I should have said this earlier, but we should take into account the fact that we've had longer to fall in love with the songs that have been out longer.
Yes,
And maybe
okay.
like give the other songs a little bit of a handicap as you're making your decision.
Okay.
However, I have some thoughts about what is probably Aaron's favorite, and I need to pull up the track list. Oh, I know.
Okay.
My phone.
I also will say the song I want to talk about the most might not be my favorite song on the album, but it's really hard to choose because I really love all of them. Okay, go.
Okay. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what I think your favorite song is, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I think it's either Don't Judge Me. I think it's Don't Judge Me or So Afraid, because you like slower songs that have like more poetic lyrics, and you find fast peppy songs exhausting after a while, and there are a lot of these on this album. And then that's like the come down towards the end are those songs. I think maybe Don't Judge Me is my pick for Aaron. What about you, Ben?
I think it's got to be Pink.
You're probably right. However, let's let Aaron tell us.
Okay, my number one super favorite jam on the Janelle Monáe Dirty Computer album is Django Jane.
Oh, that was my
Wow.
second choice. That was my second choice. I swear to God.
Every time I listen to it, I fall more deeply in love with it.
It's
I love
so
it.
good.
I Really also love Pink. What a jam. What a fucking jam.
What a fucking
What
jam.
a fucking
And they're
jam.
back to fucking back in the album.
And they're back to fucking back.
This
and
is one of those albums where I think it's really amazing to listen to in order. The order is
yes,
so good.
the order's really important. Also, Django Jane is like the nonstop
Yeah.
of
never
of
slows
the
down.
album of the,
Absolutely.
well nonstop of Hamilton, where like all the rivers of the album kind of run through Django Jane.
Yes.
Oh my fucking Jesus Christ, God Almighty!
It's like this album's kind of in like 2 or 3 sections, and Django Jane's very much the link between the two. I think.
This
and
is,
it,
yes, no,
and,
but you're
and,
right. Go ahead.
And it samples the song before it.
Screwed.
Yes, that flow
Screwed,
is so
which
good.
is one of my jams. Like,
great.
what a jam.
So great.
And
What a
that
jam.
wasn't released before, and I was really happy with it.
I
Yeah.
know. Django Jane was released like first, and it samples a song that was
Yeah.
not released until the
Yeah.
album was released. It's so
you can't
fucking
touch her.
badass.
You can't touch her. And it references, she has the whole, like, down dog thing that comes
Yeah.
back in I Got the Juice.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
She's
you're right.
like, you
and
know,
she says something about Pink in it.
she's like, bad word down dog, bad word sit back, take a seat, you
Oh,
were
yeah.
not involved.
Yeah.
And then there's like this whole down dog,
Don't think about it,
down dog. Like, so that like comes back. And a few other things too. And she references Sambo in another song. She references Sambo in Django Jane. She references another like album of hers. Oh no, that's in Screwed. The areola comes back
yeah.
in
yeah.
Screwed, which I
Yeah.
loved.
The
So
Areola
it's
makes
just-
a guest appearance.
Yeah. So get off it. You know what I mean? Anyway,
I was excited about that.
yeah. So Django Jane by far number 1.
Okay. Django Jane was going to be my guess for Ben.
Yeah.
So we're guessing mine now.
Yeah, yeah. I think Django Jane, just because it's like so fucking good, and it's got like it's so deep and got so many layers to it.
It's not Django Jane, but
think-
I have like kind of 3 or 4 that are all like very, very close.
Yeah, I feel that.
But ultimately, the one that edged out for me was I Like That.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
interesting.
Yes, it's
Because
like...
I think that like those last 5 songs of the album, they're kind of like slower, more like more kind of poetic ones. I like that's kind of the transition into that part of the album. It's like because it almost feels like the middle part of the album, she's like this strong, powerful woman, and then in the last part, she's like, but I'm allowed to like still have like still have sensitivities and like you know, don't judge me for that shit, and I'm still. As much as I feel like a powerful person, I'm still in not a disadvantageous situation in society right now.
Yeah.
Which
And
she...
I like that was like kind of the mix between those two, where she's like, I like what I like,
Yeah.
but like, you know,
Which
talks about being bullied
she also
and stuff.
teases, and maybe it's in this song, I can't remember, but in one of the songs before that section, she talks about being a walking contradiction. Walking
Is that
contradiction and a factual in fiction. Little crazy, little sexy, little
That's-
cool.
I like
I
that.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Yeah. Yep. And the chorus is amazing. The chorus is so fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is good. That's a great song. This album could carry like 4 separate albums with all of the great singles. on here.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You know, like
Yeah.
of weaker stuff, but it's just like hit after hit after hit after hit.
Yep.
I think I Got the Juice took a bit to grow on me, but I really like I really like it now.
Tonight. Well, what's your guess for me?
Oh, okay. My guess is Screwed.
Aaron?
Oh man. Fuck. This is hard. I'm gonna say either I'm between Screwed or Pink, but I think I'm gonna say Pink.
Well, those are both great songs, and Screwed is like probably number 2. Like I went back and forth a lot. But my favorite song right now is I Got the Juice.
Really?
Nice.
Wow, I didn't-
Down, yeah, it's just like it's like a jam, like dance, makes me dance every time I hear it song, and it's got like so many different like sections to it that do like different fun things. It's not like lyrical and poetic in the same way as a lot of these songs on the album, but it's just like really been like speaking to me lately and pumping me up, and I'm really enjoying it. And I
Nice.
just noticed today it's got a dog barking at the start of it.
We all got all of our guesses wrong.
That's all right. You never
I
know.
mean, the album's too good.
Yeah,
It's too good. It's too good to choose.
fucked up.
I really wanted to talk to you about my interpretation of Screwed to see if you guys picked up on this. But like from the very first time I heard it and every time since, I really get this overwhelming feeling that it has like that it's obviously about like sex and power dynamics and stuff. But I really get this overwhelming feeling that it's like a not too buried sub theme is gun culture, and because some things that make me think that is or that maybe it was not intended that way. You know, maybe it wasn't like an overt theme, but it was like so the Henry is here. I live my life in a magazine like that is regular, but I immediately thought of Gun Magazine. And then during the like let's get screwed part, like I want to get screwed on a holiday. I want to get screwed at a matinee like
At a
people
festival?
At a festival, I want to get screwed like an animal.
And
like,
we'll put water in your guns.
and we'll
do it all
put
for
water
fun.
guns. We'll put it all for fun, and we're screwed. Like it's screwed on the street. Like it's just there's so many that I'm like, well, these are also like places where you and it's talking about getting screwed and being like, oh, we're screwed. So
screwed
it's kind of
anyway.
like
Yeah.
it's screwed anyway. So it's and you know that like power dynamic of like gun culture and stuff like that. So I just really every time I hear it,
I
like
think you're right.
when I hear that chorus, I'm like, or that pre-chorus, I'm like, she's talking about getting shot by a gun right
The
now.
sirens call.
Yep.
Bombs are falling in the streets. We're all screwed. I do think there's like absolutely, whether it's guns specifically or kind of like war and destruction more broadly, I do think there's obviously like that theme like playing with the like sex theme,
Yeah.
you know, in that song. And in the video is very much like kind of playing on that too.
Oh, is there a music video for Screwed?
Well, it's part of the emotion picture.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
It's good. It doesn't have every song on the album on it, which I kind of expected it to, and it's like it's fine. It's good, but like I've really enjoyed listening to the album. Like I've watched the emotion picture once, and I haven't like really felt the urge to go back. But it's good to watch once, at least. But yeah, Screwed is such a good. I really like kind of also how she's really great and has a lot of fun with like talking, just like directly addressing sort of stigmatized subjects, like how the third line in that song is about living her life on birth control.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just, it's not like she's trying to hide anything. It's just like part of the rhyme scheme, and it's like a great line.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I love that song.
Oh, can I talk about
and-
another reason why I like that a lot?
Yes, but I just thought of one more thing, just so we don't have to go back to Screwed necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You fuck the world up now, we'll fuck it all back down is such an excellent line.
What a great
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
What a great line.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
I sort of felt like I like that, and this was part of the reason I like it so much, and it ended up being my favorite, is in the context of the interview she gave where she came out as pansexual.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I felt like this song was a little bit about like her figuring out her sexuality and like about how sexuality is a really kind of individual experience. Just like I like that. I don't really give a fuck if I was just the only one, you know, because it's like maybe it's entirely unique to me, or like maybe it's not. You know, I don't know. It was just I really liked that message. I feel like.
Yeah.
I didn't read that interview, so we're all bringing different Janelle Monáe information to the table.
Yeah, I had a feeling she was going to come out in conjunction with her album just because, like, all of the singles were really pointing towards that.
Yeah.
And she came out the day before, in Rolling Stone, the day before her album dropped. As pansexual.
I also really like Crazy Classic Life for reasons that dovetail with that, where she says, I just want to find a guy, and I hope she loves me too.
Yeah.
For a while, I couldn't tell if she was saying guy or girl there.
Yeah.
Either way, I liked it.
I think in the album track, I think it's kind of like garbled on purpose in a way, but in the video, like
It's God.
it's very
That's
blatant.
even
Oh,
better.
it's God.
That's even better.
I love that.
Huh.
Did I tell you that Kylie didn't grow up religious at all, like on either side of her family? And so just as a kid, she always assumed God was female.
Huh.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, isn't that
Smart
great?
lady.
Oh my god, I'm just reading the lyrics for I Got the Juice, and she says, got juice for all my lovers, got juice for all my wives.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Got juice. What is it? Juice as my religion. Got juice between my thighs.
Yeah.
It's an extremely horny album.
She does not give a fuck.
No, and then there's all this stuff. It's actually really great because like there's also all this stuff about like ain't no juice quite like yours, ain't no juice quite like mine. Like it's just like it's about like your creative juices, but it's also about your actual juices.
Yeah.
Like 'cause it comes like right after. Like it's great.
Is
It's
that
so
the
like
one with if you try to grab this pussycat, this pussy grabs you back? too?
yeah.
And
Love
then
that.
give you pussy cataracts. What a great line. What?
What is that?
That's right at the end. I noticed that today. I was listening to it. It's right at the end of like hold on.
I know where it is. I just don't understand what it is. Now
Oh,
go on,
pussy
girl,
cataracts.
and use that sauce. If you don't, then that's your loss. If you don't, I don't know. It's just so fun.
I don't know, maybe you're squinting too hard and
Do, do, do.
I really, I feel like it's a song I need to get kind of into more, like listen to more and more. But is Americans the last
Yeah,
song on the
yeah.
album?
oh yeah.
As I was like paying more attention to the lyrics today, I was like, I think this is a really clever satire that I need to listen to harder.
It is. It absolutely. I had that same
Die in
feeling.
church, live in jail, say your name twice in hell.
It's a great. It's a really
Just noticed
good.
that.
It's a really good song. It was one of the ones that I was thinking about. Like at moments, it feels a little bit heavy-handed, but I think it's really interesting how she does this thing where the verses are like pretty critical of America. Like
Yeah.
I teach my I prefer my women in the kitchen. I teach my kids superstition.
I keep my 2 guns on my blue nightstand.
blue
A pretty young
nightstand.
thing. She can wash my clothes, but she'll never ever wear my pants.
I pledge allegiance to the flag. Learn the words from my mom and dad. Like, but then the chorus is like you could use it in like a fucking Dodge commercial.
It almost sounds like a country
Yes,
song.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
Don't
like
try to take my country, I will defend my land.
Yeah.
Like,
But then knowing who she is and where she's coming from in the verses and in the rest of the
Yeah.
album, it makes me feel very empowered
Yes.
as an American, like to go march
Yeah.
with her and stuff. you know?
exactly, and it's not. That part doesn't feel like satire to me. That part feels like that's the message. Like we're
Right.
taking that phrase and using it
Right.
yeah,
for
we're
our
taking
own.
it back.
I'll defend my
Right.
land. Well, it's like also in like Crazy Classic Life where she's like, I'm not America's nightmare. I am the American dream. Like it's
Yes.
like, and that's like bookending the album almost.
I'm the American dream.
It's so
also
good.
a really good song. And even if there's a song that I'm like struggling to get into, there's always a hook for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's always something that's really, really good.
Yeah,
to
I
it.
haven't skipped one yet. Like when it's come
Nope.
up.
No. Stevie's Dream. After a while, I was like, okay,
It's not that long, is it though? It's just
No,
like
it's
an
not.
interstitial thing.
yeah.
Yeah, both of the dreams are, I mean, they're not really full songs.
And I assume it's Stevie Wonder.
I assumed that also. I don't know if that's
America's
true.
Nightmare. I am the American dream. Oh my god. Just let me live my life. I wanna crazy. Like the chorus of that song I'm not so crazy about, but I love the verses.
You're not crazy or classic about it.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh man. It's just so
So
good.
nominate, shout, if you're listening, fucking shout out.
Oh my
shout
god. I never noticed. I need to listen to Americans more. 79 cents to your dollar, all that bullshit from white
Yep.
collars. You see my color before my vision.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
What a fucking line.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
and the next one too. Sometimes I wonder,
If you were blind, would it help you make a better decision?
oh, pledge allegiance to the flag. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep. You keep reading me lyrics. I'm gonna keep singing this song.
I have a confession, though. I have a
Okay.
dirty computer confession.
Okay.
She's coming to Raleigh.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think I'm planning on going. Like, it's going to be on a Monday night in Raleigh, which is like 30 to 40 minutes from my house. And it's like, the tickets are really expensive. And I just like, and I'm an old person.
She's coming to Boston on Hannah's
On
birthday.
my birthday.
On your birthday.
Yeah. So, and Ian already knew about it when
And
I
it's a
mentioned it to him, which means he's a
Saturday,
good
right?
husband.
That's a Saturday.
July.
Do you think
Yes,
I'm
it
bad
is.
and I should just go to see Janelle Monáe in concert? I mean, why
don't
why
think
wouldn't I
you're
not go
bad.
see Janelle Monáe?
Absolutely, you don't have to.
Yeah, follow your
You guys
follow
are,
your
are
fart.
supposed to enable me to go.
That's what Janelle would want. She would want.
She would probably want me to come to her concert.
She would want you to follow your heart.
That's where they make a lot of their money, is the
Yeah.
touring.
That is true.
I mean, her heart would want you to come to the concert, but she'd want you to follow your heart.
Right.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Anyway,
That's so true, Hannah.
Thank you.
I'm going to think about it.
Okay, you think about it. Think about coming to Boston for my birthday.
I'll think about that too.
Okay.
This is just
That would
front
be a
to back
blowout.
the best
That'd be
album.
great. That'd be so good.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm calling it right now best album of 2018.
Yep. Got
Holy
it.
And-
fuck.
Also, I'm calling that genuinely. I think this is like gonna be an important album
Yeah.
Yeah.
just in the world.
And she did. Oh, in that interview, Hannah, she dedicated this album to LGBTQ youth.
Oh, lovely.
She's
yeah.
great.
She's great. I just love her. And she wanted to. She felt like it was important to come out and to make this album so that, like, for the message of like, I see you.
Yeah, which is like exactly the message that you've been getting. Like you've said that on previous episodes.
said that.
Like,
I
feel
felt-
so seen.
I feel seen.
Yeah.
I'm not what you would call a youth. However,
You are. You're still young. She's all like, I don't want to waste my youth. I was thinking about that today. She's like only a couple years older. She's a couple years older than us, or she's a couple years young. No,
Older.
Yeah. So there you
That's
go.
great.
She's still
You're right.
a youth.
You're right.
Yes, it's really, really good. Also, like, I really love, I mean, obviously, like, she was just telling it like it is, but I love the fact that she is pan and came out as pansexual, because that is one of those sexualities.
I have to confess, it's one I don't really know.
Right.
what it
Well, that's
means.
what I'm saying, and now you'll learn with a lot of the rest of
will.
America. And I've known people who are pansexual, and I think I actually think it's, like, super awesome, because it's, like, it's
What is it exactly?
basically... You want to tell him?
Oh, you can.
do you want to tell?
Well, basically, it's like so the way that it was described to me by my friend is that you love the person for their personality, nothing to do with their genitals. So it's like you are interested in any type of person.
Non-binary.
Yeah, non-binary, exactly. Just like
Trans.
it's really about like just are you compatible on an interpersonal level and all that kind of good stuff. You don't actually care about. You care eventually, but it's not like the first thing on your mind. What's between your legs,
Gotcha.
I think it was meant to be a more inclusive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like more like exactly less dependent on like the continuation of the gender binary.
Exactly.
Because in that interview, she said like at first she thought she was queer, and then she thought she was bisexual, and then she like read about pansexuality and was like, that sounds more like what I'm feeling, right?
Right.
So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think there are some people kind of throwing shit about, I think pansexuality or something might have had transphobic roots or something. I don't know enough about the topic and about how like bisexuality isn't necessarily exclusive, but I don't, as we're like moving towards this like gender is fluid and like trying to get away from labels, I think like the intention is good, and it's I really like the explicit like inclusive message, and I think that's exactly what she was going for. Just like her album itself is just so representative, like it just is for so many people who aren't seen on a regular basis. That anyway,
Amen.
yeah.
Oh, okay. This is a great discussion that we need to move on from, Because we
Yes,
have, 3 more topics.
The Janelle Monáe segment is now over. Even though this
Sad
is
to see it go.
this is a Janelle Monáe podcast.
Now we've done the meat and potatoes of the podcast. We can move on to the dessert.
To the dessert portion.
Which should be Strawberry Fest, I imagine. But there's a couple other things that maybe would...
No, let's cut that.
Oh, okay.
Or
So
we don't have
it's-
to,
is
whatever.
that spoilers?
No.
I want to mention, I know that we're not all caught up on it, and I kind of need to watch it again first, and we don't necessarily want to get into spoiler territory anyway. Westworld is back. It's 2 episodes in. I couldn't watch it in China, so I watched both episodes last night, and I was, not incredibly focused on them, but so far, seems okay.
At this point, it's why bringing that up? You're like, okay, I don't want to talk about it, but I kind of watched 2 episodes. I don't really remember them, but it seems like they're a thing that you can watch.
Seems okay.
And then ends it with, and they were okay.
Just make sure you watch it, because we're going to want to talk about it eventually.
I want to do a rewatch. Sorry, I want to do a rewatch of the first season because I don't fucking remember a goddamn thing.
I already did the rewatch. I remember everything.
Oh,
Doesn't
man.
look
You should
like anything
watch.
to me.
I'll send you a video that will recap it really well for you if
Oh,
you
great.
want.
Yeah, that's good.
There's this YouTube channel called Alt Shift X that does recaps of Game of Thrones, and then during the off season does recap of other shows.
Cool.
And he did one for the whole first season of Westworld.
That
It's
would be
really good.
amazing. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, and also they fucking caught the Golden State Killer, you guys.
Holy fucking
Wow,
shit.
I forgot that we were going to talk about that.
So, let me tell you something. That
That was a
happened.
genuine gasp.
That happened. So, here's the timeline. Here's the fucking goddamn timeline. Hannah listens to that book. Hannah tells it.
This timeline has no dates or times.
About it. On fucking...
Way too broad.
I'm way too broad. I fucking then get that fucking book and fucking listen to it. Then I fucking finish it. Then fucking 3 days after I fucking finished the book, they catch the fucking Golden State Killer, and I'm freaking the fuck out. And I needed to talk to you, Hannah. I just was I need to talk to Hannah. It's the only thing that needs to happen in my life right now is I need to be talking to Hannah about this. But it was fucking 1 a.m. in China. Okay? So, when I needed you the most, you were fucking pooping in a hole. Except you were sleeping. You were sleeping away in China.
Yeah.
So that's the timeline without any times.
Let me
Except for 1 a.m. in China.
let me add to that timeline. When I woke up that morning, I wanted to Google something. I don't remember what. So I went into Google and I tapped the thing. I fucking tapped the fucking bar for Google. And it fucking... I wasn't logged in to Google on my phone, my work phone that they gave me to go over there. So it just brought up the most Googled things in the last however many hours. And so the first one was Golden State Killer caught. And I was like, holy shit! And I tapped that. And that's how I found out Google suggestions.
I wanted to fucking be the one to fucking tell you.
Huh?
I wanted to be the one to tell you
I'm sorry.
that I caught the Golden State Killer.
You caught him?
You caught him?
I did.
You were like, give me 3 days, motherfucker. I already told this audiobook it's probably a cop.
I did. That's it. That's something I told Hannah. I was listening to this audiobook, and it's and somehow, as soon as the police showed up, he evaded the police officers, and I yelled at my audiobook, because he's a cop! But my audiobook did not listen to me, and guess what, motherfuckers? He was a fucking cop.
Was he a cop while he was doing all of this?
Yeah, dude.
Ooh.
Holy shit.
I don't think he was a cop when he was doing the majority of it.
I need to ask y'all a question since you've read the book. and like have looked more. I didn't want to look up too much about it because I still want to read that book.
We listened to the book. Does that count? Do we
Yeah.
find it weird that we need to make the distinction? We've consumed the material.
Yeah,
Yes.
I feel weird if I'm like, I read it, but then I didn't, you know.
Yeah.
How involved was Michelle McNamara? That's her name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How involved was like her investigative work in solving this case? Do
Here's
we know?
what I will say. Yes, here's what I will say. The police are like, it had nothing to do with the book, okay? And the book only came out 2 months before, but she didn't start with the book. She initially wrote an article that got picked up a lot of traction, and so through her involvement, she was heavily involved with the police, constantly in contact with them, providing stuff to them, kind of helping, move this along, writing articles, getting like talking to victims' families. I think she brought this into
She lit a fire
becoming.
under their asses.
She lit a fire under it and made this case as high profile as it was.
Wasn't she working with some of the families as part of this too?
She was
Yeah, I
working
believe
with
she
Paul
was.
Holt, who was like at that press conference and who
Wow.
said really nice things about her in the book. And then also, she named him. He was called like 3 different names before she came along, and she named him as part of her like blog about him, and then eventually her book. So every time that he's referred to as the Golden State Killer, that's the influence of Michelle McNamara.
She didn't name Paul Holt. She named Golden State Killer.
Right.
Paul Holtz is her son. She named him.
She named him as the Golden State Killer.
Paul Holt.
So I don't think it would be solved right now. I think there are a lot of people who don't think it would be solved right now if it hadn't been for Michelle McNamara.
I agree.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everyone agree.
I need to read
Everyone
that book.
agree. It's like
Is that a demand?
it's like so man, it would be an entirely different experience to read/listen to it
Post.
I want to read more about, like, I want to get my dates straight. I need someone to make me a timeline that includes his life.
Not me.
I need a timeline that includes his life and the attack. So, like, when he joined the police force, when the first attack was, when he had his
This
daughter.
is all gonna come out. This is all gonna come out. Like, we're just gonna get all of this information. We're gonna get so much information.
Yeah.
Do you think that it will be better reading it after he's been captured, or like take away from the experience?
I think
'Cause it's
it'll
like,
be better.
I think it'll be less scary when you think
'Cause
that
he's not-
there's
yeah, 'cause he's not out
intruder
there.
fucking
Yeah,
in
you
your
wouldn't
house
have
and it's
thought that
actually your Roomba.
Was the murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I think it'll be different, and honestly, like I want to listen to it again because I want to hear how many things she kind of theorized correctly. Because for one thing, she talked about and like interviews that I've seen and stuff have talked about how she was convinced that DNA was going to be the key to solving this crime.
Yes,
which it was. She theorized and listed a lot of theories about different types of sort of uniformed people that she never wrote cop, but like the idea of someone blending who's able to blend in very easily and stuff like that. I don't think that when he was scoping out neighborhoods, I think he did it on foot, and I don't think he did it in uniform, even if he was a cop.
Although, so I was listening to My Favorite Murder came out with a special. Did you listen to that? My main takeaway from that was like there were times, and possibly multiple of them, when he was doing something and he probably got caught or pulled over and flashed a badge and was let go. Like there had to be somebody who knew, or somebody who knew something. There's just no way.
Yeah.
There's just no way. Like, and it all makes sense now, right? Like, you're like, he was so good, or was he being enabled by, his position of power, his status.
Yeah. Well, and also like he was not known even until he retired. Basically, he was not really known as like a bad cop or a dirty cop or anything. He got a lot of awards for stuff. So I imagine that would insulate him from suspicion even more. You know? So.
And there's a picture, one of like the first like sketch artist pictures. And there's like a picture of him as a cop side by side, and it's like identical. It's like it's like a literal drawing of him.
And he was
it's
like
crazy.
in that
Wow.
police force at that time, basically. He was like,
Right.
It wasn't like he was like in the Nevada police force and he was crossing state lines to commit these murders. He lived in the town, or one of the villages where many of the attacks occurred. He worked in several of the towns where the attacks occurred. So
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah,
Like, one of the officers was probably like, this looks just like you.
Yeah,
like, I
this
just
is probably
feel
like an
like
office
that
joke.
probably happened.
oh my god.
God. Yeah, I think they're looking through her notes to see if his name was in there. I think their prime suspects were like either a cop or my vacuum cleaner. It was like unclear.
And then the very next day, Bill Cosby got what he deserved. Finally,
That's right. You keep saying that.
God,
like that.
do you remember when
I don't know exactly what
his
happened.
first thing got ruled a mistrial? And as he was walking out of the courthouse, he did the Fat Albert hey hey hey.
No, I don't. But that's
It was
What a
so
fucking-
weird.
ugh,
He's such a creep.
what a creep. Okay.
Well, I just wanted to explain what I did this weekend. It's of interest for the listeners potentially.
Yeah.
Which was
It's a cool tradition.
it was every year our friend Sarah throws a 3-day house party called Strawberry Fest, and we go and pick over 100 pounds of strawberries and then eat and drink them across the whole weekend. Are you there?
I want to go so bad.
Yeah, it's really fun. So we picked. So the funny thing is, so we do this every year. This was the 12th year, my 11th year, and we have always picked at least 100 pounds.
Wow.
Or I think our highest number was 160, but it's usually around like 110. And so we had last year was at our house. We hosted for the first time. Well, like Sarah says, she hosted at our house. So it was at our house for the first time last year, and we we had the baskets still from the strawberry farm.
Oh.
And so this year it was in Charleston, and we remembered that the Charleston place didn't let us keep the baskets. So I brought all of the baskets from all the strawberries that we picked to this place. And the baskets, if you fill the baskets up, they're 4 pounds each, and there were 28 baskets. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so we fill up all 28 baskets, about to the brim, and we bring them to weigh. And the woman who's weighing them gets like 86 pounds. She's like,
What?
all right. She's like, okay. She's like, that's 86 pounds. As she's weighing them, she notes how they're all about 4 pounds. She's like, wow, this is impressive that they're all about 4 pounds. And then she's like, okay, that was 86 pounds. And we were like, no. And we were like, well, why don't we just pay you for, like, you said yourself, like, they were all about 4 pounds. Why don't we just pay you for, like, 4 times 28? And she was like, got real pissy and was like, you need to pay for the weight, the exact weight. And we were like, okay, but it's not 80 pounds.
And we're trying to pay you more.
Yeah.
We're trying to pay you more. We just like want you to do just some like basic, like quick arithmetic in your head. And so we're like, let's reweigh them. We were like, no problem, let's reweigh them. And she has like a real pissy face. Like she's like really pissed. But we're like, you misweighed them, like anybody can do this math. Mm-hmm. And if that's too hard, I want you to think about like 4 times 25.
Right.
And how that's 100. Okay? Like you could just like subtract a bunch of numbers and then still like get a number that you know about. Okay? And so we reweigh all the strawberries. And this time, our friend Sarah is writing down the basket weight as they come in. So she has a log of it.
Yeah.
And this time the lady goes, okay, I got 70 pounds.
What?
She's like, what did you get to my friend? And my friend was like, we're going to go with what you got. Because we're not doing this again with piss face. Like, we're not doing this again. So then we pay for, it's supposed to be $3 a pound. We get away with $1.90 a pound.
Jesus Christ.
And then we, so we load up all the strawberries, and I like overhear her like texting somebody with her voice and being like, you need to call this person back. I am just not in the mood for that. This is a strawberry farm out in the goddamn middle of nowhere. There's literally no one else here. It's not like we're holding up a line. Like, this is the only thing that she's doing. This is the literal only thing that she's doing is running this farm stand. And, like, weighing our strawberries. And, like, not doing it well. Not doing it well at all. Doing it very badly. Like, doing a really fucking bad job of it. And so I was like, oh, they had bacon there. So I ordered some bacon. Because it was, it's a farm bacon. I was like, that would be great. And, she pulls it out of the freezer, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it to be, like, refrigerated. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that'll just thaw. That'll be, like, thawed by tomorrow if I put it in the fridge today. And she goes, it's just bacon. I was like, okay, bitch.
Jesus.
She was something else. She was having a bad day.
So did you buy the bacon?
I did.
Oh.
As Sarah, like, kept a log, did she get the correct weight?
Yeah, it was 110 fucking pounds of strawberries.
Wait, so was the woman just doing math wrong? What happened?
I don't know.
How was she keeping track of the total as she weighed each basket?
Ben,
how could she possibly mess it up?
We spent the whole weekend, like, one of the main events of the weekend was trying to figure out how the fuck she got that math.
Like, neither of those numbers are divisible by 4. Like, I was trying to think, like, was she tallying and she missed a couple?
She was, like, weighing a basket, then, like, typing something in on her iPhone calculator. And here's the thing, that's a bad idea, because then you don't have any record of, like, what you've done.
Yeah.
Like, in previous years, the woman has, in a different place, the people have, like, written down the weights of all the berries and then added them up. Yeah. Because then you could be like, oh, 70
that's
pounds,
not right.
4 times 28, quick gut check. That's not right at all. Just, like, really basic, quick gut check.
No, Aaron, like, I hear what you're saying, but you need to pay for the exact amount that
Oh, another thing that happened in between Sarah being like, we're going with your number, and the first time, in between that, she's, like, about to put a basket on the scale, and Sarah takes out a rotten strawberry from the basket, and the woman says, if you picked it, you pay for it. And we were like, well, if it was rotten in our basket, it was rotten on the vine. Like,
yeah, we did you a favor, bitch.
It's not like we picked an underripe berry and then we're trying to throw it away. So she was just something else. But we had a really nice weekend, ate and drank all the strawberries, got all the way through them. We really did.
Nice.
So
I love strawberries.
It was lovely. Yeah, you should come sometime, Ben.
Let me tell you a story about why. Well, you know I didn't come because I was in China, but let me just tell a quick story about. So, first of all, there's been 2 opportunities for me to go to China this year. One of them was this past month in April, and the one before that was in March, and it was going to be, if I had gone, it would have been the 2 weeks right prior to Aaron's birthday, which was also St. Patrick's Day, which was also when we went to Savannah. So I actively tried to get myself out of that trip because not only would it require me rushing my passport, but also it would require me flying straight from China to Savannah to then have our vacation, which, knowing what I know now about jet lag, would have been a horrible idea. So
I'm really glad that didn't happen that way.
I'm really glad that didn't happen. But then just as, like, the week before we were about to go, I was like, Sarah sent out the invitation for Strawberry Fest, and I was like, Ian, do you want to try to go this year? Let's go, because I really wanted to go last year, but I couldn't. I can't remember why, but I couldn't go. And because I just ran out of vacation time. But so I was, like, planning on going, and then the next day I went into work, and they were like, hey, do you want to go to Canton Fair in China and visit stuff? And I couldn't think of any good reason to pass on it this time, so I just decided to go. But it's like the world, the universe is conspiring against me going to anywhere down in that part of the country, especially to hang out with you and Sarah.
It happens every year, so
I know I'm gonna go.
And it might happen it might even happen in DC next year, actually.
Even closer,
maybe a little closer.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, is there anything else that we wanted to cover? What's our homework? What's our group homework for everybody?
Listen to Dirty Computer,
absolutely.
you idiots.
Listen to Dirty
Turkeys.
Computer. Oh my God.
Everybody listen to Dirty Computer.
Well, me and Ben need to watch the Emotion Picture.
Yeah, you need to watch the Emotion Picture.
Which, if you go to Janelle Monáe's website right now, it just starts playing at full screen. like she's like, watch my fucking movie.
Fucking watch it. I worked really hard on it.
Yeah.
Are the music videos like part of it?
Huh?
Are the music videos that already came out
Yes.
in the motion picture?
They are.
Gotcha.
And I think it's probably in the same order as the album because they're all like right in a row, all the ones that you've seen.
Cool.
But there's other stuff in between, and like I said, there's a secret, hidden, extra bridge in pink, which is great.
Nice.
I just want to paint the town. I don't want to hide my love. Like, it's good. It's very good.
Don't spoil it.
Okay, and Ben, what's your Twitter?
It's any Disco Greg.
Okay, and then my homework is make sure that you watch Westworld because eventually we'll want to talk about it and whether it's okay or good or bad or.
Oh, one more thing. It's the thing everyone's been waiting for.
Okay.
We're gonna finally talk about Star Wars.
What?
Right now.
Surprise! Watch Westworld, watch Star Wars.
But oh no, it's gonna get cut because we're over time. But we did talk
look at
about
that, we're out
it.
of time.
Dang it.
Damn it.
Oh, we'll
Oh,
do it,
man.
and we'll let you guys.
We'll do it next week.
We'll let you know how it went.
We'll do it off mic.
Read up on the Golden State Killer. Oh, hey, here's some homework. Somebody make me that timeline because I really want to see it before I listen to the book again. So do that. My Twitter, if you want to tweet that timeline at me, my Twitter is Anthropology. And also, I have another podcast. It's called So Dreamy. We talk about dreams. We also missed an episode last week. But
Yeah.
we'll be back on this week. So, hurrah!
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Aaron, what about you?
Well, my homework's Dirty Computer. Listen to I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
Oh yeah, listen to I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
Or read it.
Or read it. Yeah, if you're
Audiobook people.
consume it, whatever.
Whatever.
And
Eat
eat it, whatever you need to do. My Twitter is @EarnBurn. I review lesbian movies at LesbianMovieReviews, although I haven't done that in a long time. And that's all from me.
That's on Instagram.
That's on Instagram.
It's on,
Sorry.
It's on Instagram. Okay,
It's
cool.
on Instagram.
Well,
And Janelle Monáe's an artist.
Janelle Monáe is an artist. Thanks everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed our group obsessions episode. And if you didn't, too bad, because the podcast candle is now extinguished.
You need to post a picture of your shoulder pads, though.
I have one. I actually have a picture. So I'll do that.
I could. Please do. Okay, bye, narwhals.
Bye.